Well, once again, we're feeling a little forgotten here in central Nassau County, here in the middle of the island, as yet more crime problems are occurring. And, the crime is getting to be such a problem in this area now that people are starting to even talk about it on social media a lot more. They're noticing what's going on. People have been victims of crime as the crime just continues to get worse. And we're going to actually, in another video, go over some crime maps. But in this video, we're going to go over some news stories that have occurred that have been, kind of forgotten by the mainstream media. So we're going to first start off with this because it happened in Mineola, and this is a new one here. Man stole parking meters in Nassau County. Yes, he physically stole the meters. This guy right here, probably, I see people like this walking around, roaming around Mineola all the time. It's not really a surprise, to see this happen. So Marvin O. Morjan Flores, 35 of Hempstead, faces 9 grand larceny charges, among other charges, in connection with a string of parking meter thefts in Nassau County. A Hempstead man was arrested Wednesday in connection with the thefts of several parking meters in Nassau County. Officers saw Marvin O. Morjan Flores, 35, who police said matched the description of the suspect who had been stealing parking meters near Roslyn Road and Jericho Turnpike. He gave false information to officers. So officers arrested O. Morjan Flores and charged him with 9 counts of third-degree grand larceny, 4 counts of second-degree criminal mischief, 2 counts of petty larceny, 1 count of possession of burglar tools, and 1 count of false impersonation. Third squad detectives and Freeport police worked together to make the arrest, so maybe he was doing stuff in Freeport too. And, of course, you shouldn't be surprised about this. Omar Jean Flores had 2 open Nassau County warrants from October 23rd, 2023 for criminal possession of a controlled substance and November 30th, 2023 for violation of probation. Of course, he probably got out on no bail. And he was arraigned on Thursday at First District Court at 99 Main Street in Hempstead. And he probably got out on no bail again. Probably. He had been sentenced to probation in connection with prior charges for first-degree robbery and menacing that stemmed from a February 6th arrest. So these are the kind of people that we have dumped in our area right here, And, of course, News 12, South Shore 12, they covered some stuff in the middle of the end. I'll give them credit, but they barely covered this. Barely covered it at all. Let's see what they've got here. So, yeah, they barely covered it. 23 seconds. That's all they covered it. Of course, he probably did it in broad daylight, too. Who knows? But I'll show you where this all happened here. Pull up the maps. I know that area very well. It's like literally in my neighborhood. It's right over here. I mean, so there are parking meters along the road here. If you notice here, if you look at the street view, you'll notice that there are parking meters here. And he was still stealing these parking meters here. See them? There's one there. Look at the condition of that sidewalk. Welcome to Mineola, folks. So he was stealing the parking meters from this spot. I guess there are some parking meters over here. It's unusual that they would have them on Jericho Turnpike, but they do actually have them. There's some more over here. Never noticed that there are parking meters until the article, and I realized, oh yeah, there are parking meters along Jericho Turnpike here in Mineola. So, he was stealing the meters. Somehow he stole the whole meter, not just the cash inside. Obviously, that's what he was after, but he stole the whole meter, which is, I don't know if he did this during the day or at night. I don't know, but there's a lot of abandoned buildings over here. Not surprisingly. Really, space available. Not surprised. There's always space available in Mineola. But yep, that's one of the crimes there that was covered. That was covered on the patch, at least. They covered it. And NCPD also had a statement about this as well. Probably just going to read the same thing. The same thing that we read in the patch, basically from Nassau County Police. Of course, South Shore 12, mentioned it even less, of course. Now, to be fair, they did cover some stuff in the middle of the island. Actually, covered a shooting Coram. Okay, that's fine. They did cover that. So let's first go to the other story that they covered, because once again, I want to get this in the video here, toward the beginning of the video, because not everybody watches the whole video. They're all over the South Shore again. A growing concern over a homeless shelter near West Babylon. Citizen Children's Foundation opens family center in Nassau. Cafe, no, this one here. Community raises $12,000 for workers of Merrick bars closed due to a fire of the Newbridge Inn. And again, when we lose business in Mineola, it never even gets a mention. But they cover that just because. But let's get to this here, because this is a classic example of what I'm talking about. It's okay to have all these homeless shelters and all these problems in the middle of the island, but if they try to get onto the South Shore, you're going to hear about it. So they're going to play this story, and obviously, I'm not saying their concerns aren't warranted, but we're tired of dealing with this crap in the middle of the island. You expect us to be a dumping ground for all the problems, and we're sick of it.
News 12 exclusive. There's growing concern over a West Babylon homeless shelter located just steps away from a daycare. As News 12's Kevin Vesey reports, neighbors and public officials say the shelter sprang up without any warning.
This is just something that snuck up on us.
West Babylon residents feeling blindsided after a homeless shelter was abruptly placed in their neighborhood.
And if this happened in Mineola, nothing would happen. We'd deal with all the problems, and we wouldn't even get hurt.
It's on the grounds of Our Lady of Grace Church on Alban Avenue, which also houses a daycare where Todd Brown sends his child.
I wish there was a little heads up. I wish there was a little notice.
They didn't notify the town.
Babylon Town Supervisor Rich Schaefer says he was also kept out of the loop.
So it's funny, Babylon Town, and I'll play the rest of the story, but Babylon Town, basically, because West Babylon is not in the village of Babylon, it's off Alban Avenue, so this is Alban Avenue. Let's find Alban Avenue right here. I think it's, right here, this area, right here. So this is the area, of course. It's a preppy little enclave over here. But it's in the town of Babylon. It's town of Babylon. Look at how nice those streets look, huh? Nice. Looks like they just finished paving them. So it's by a school basically, and of course people are upset. But what about the homeless shelter that they opened up in East Farmingdale? Because nobody's ever spoken about this, but there's a huge homeless shelter over here. But that's okay, right? Because it's the middle of the island, right? It's okay to have a homeless shelter here, right? Because it's the middle of the island, but not in West Babylon, no. All right, let's go back to the snobs.
Something bad is going to happen there because there's constantly a police response. There's a response for rescue calls, for overdoses, for domestic violence situations.
What about the Pines? That's a motor lodge in Westbury. They do the same. They put homeless people. They put problems there, too. Nope. Nobody ever says anything about that.
It is operated by the Family Service
But if it happens in the enclave, oh boy, you're going to hear about it.
Along with Suffolk Social Services. According to this lease obtained by News 12, the term began in November of last year and ends in October of 2028. A Suffolk County spokesperson writing, "The county is aware of the dispute among the local municipality, service provider, and local residents. We are working with all parties to ensure the best mutual outcome." But in the meantime, neighbors like Kaylee Lopez are concerned.
I have a 6-year-old son, I have an 11-year-old daughter, and there's kids all along the stretch, and I'm extremely...
Is it snowing? There must be cherry blossoms coming down. That's not snow, but again, these people, they're important. People of color, they don't matter. They don't matter. It's okay to have all the problems, but if it's in a lily white area, which West Babylon is, well, sorry, these people are going to be. I know our last name's Lopez, but certain demographic people.
And it's still not clear tonight if the shelter will change locations. The Family Service League has also said it's willing to work with the neighborhood and elected officials. Meanwhile, the town supervisor and the county legislator from this area are both expected to meet with the operators of the shelter tomorrow. In West Babylon, Kevin Vesey.
So they're going to move it to the middle of the island. They'll probably move it to Deer Park or something, just because the people in West Babylon, well, they've got to have their perfect world. But it's okay for us to deal with all the problems, right? This is the same kind of BS that we have going on. It pisses me off so much. So that was the one story they covered there on the South Shore, of course. They did cover a car driving into a Plainview dance studio, but then they were this again. John, so they spend 2 minutes on this, but they can't send a report on Mineola to cover the parking meters theft because, it happened in Wantagh. Oh, of course, we're not even going to play that. All right? It's all about these people, man. It's just all about them. But they did, to be fair, they did cover some stuff in the middle of the island. They covered some serious things that happened, actually. Drunk driver hits a patrol car at a DWI crash. And then this, which we're going to play here. This is about a man getting shot in Coram, yet he was uninjured because the wallet blocked the bullet.
This afternoon on a shooting in Coram, bullets were fired into a car, and the man inside is alive thanks to his wallet. News 12's Caroline Flynn is there now with more on this. Caroline.
Tara, it is certainly a wild story, and what Suffolk
Now, this is a place that has a lot of crime. Oakview apartment complex in Coram. A lot of crime there in that place. And you'll see they're going to interview people that don't feel safe.
Police are telling us this afternoon is that this shooting here at the Oakview Apartments was not random and no arrests have been made. So they're hoping maybe you saw something and can provide them with some helpful information. As this happened yesterday, just before 11 o'clock in the morning. Take a look at your screen. We've got a map up there to show you exactly where this happened in Coram. It's just south of Middle Country Road. And this shooting happened inside of the complex near Grant Court.
They were aiming for whoever was in the car, but I was over here, just starting my gardening. And I heard this, and it's ridiculous. I'm just so upset about it.
Now, that resident told News 12 that she feels unsafe and thinks the complex needs better security. Yeah. I did speak with Oakview Apartments office here. A worker told me that the complex has security only at night and that their security system, like cameras, was a private matter. We walked around the complex and did not see any visible cameras on the buildings. When asked if yesterday's incident has them considering increased security, that worker said no comment. He did mention that his wallet likely saved his life. That was because one of those bullets that hit that man, it went through the car and again hit his wallet that was in his pocket. That man sustained no injuries. And again, if you have any information that could be helpful, get in touch with Suffolk Police. You can do so anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers. That number is right up on your screen.
So, yeah, this is this is an area that's got a lot of problems in Coram, and it has for quite some time, and it's not getting any better. They might have gotten it a little better around the plaza where I noticed more police presence over by the Coram Plaza. But the Homestead Drive, which is this area right here, and there is the 52A goes by there, I believe. So, formerly the 60, but in this spot here. But this is a very, very big. You got this DSS. You got a lot of drug addicts over here. Very unsafe area. Not at all surprised that something like this would happen here. There has been other things that happened here in the past. This is a known dumping ground for all the problems. All right, they specifically they put all the shelters here, and and again, look, I have nothing against shelters, but the problem is a lot of the homeless people are criminals that were let out of jail. So instead of being in jail, they're in shelters. And that's what's going on. It's been like that for a long time in Coram. I mean, even the police, got out of Dodge here. This is the police precinct here. Where was it? Yeah, it says Suffolk County Probation Department. But I mean, this used to be a police precinct, and they just got the heck out of here. They got this video is street views from 2015. I think this is whenever I pass by on the bus, this looks abandoned completely. I don't see anything in there. Coram is. I'm surprised News 12 actually covered that. So I'll give them credit for covering some stuff in the middle of the island. They did cover that, and that was But then again, they missed this one. Suspect wanted for shooting at a car in Riverhead. Didn't cover that very well. Only 18 seconds. This happened on Oakland Drive South. That's off Doctor's Path. Barely covered it. I think that's a pretty big deal. I think they should be covering that. It's, of course they're all over Gilgo. What else is new? Suspect warning for burglarizing Farmingdale restaurant. Nope, only 19 seconds. That's all it got. And that happened to my grandmother's kitchen on Main Street. Again, there's so much crime in the middle of the island, Farmingdale. All right. And then there was 2 officers injured by while making an arrest at a Belrose 7-Eleven. Here we go again. Police say armed baddie was asked to leave the store but returned and urinated on the property. So another vagrant probably. This happened at 1 a.m. on Jericho Turnpike in Belrose. So Belrose, Floral Park, New Hyde Park, Garden City Park, Mineola. This whole area is going down the tubes quick. And that's not at all a surprise. We might have something in here about this as well. We'll see if we do. I don't see anything. There's also a burglary that occurred in Glen Head. They got the Farmingdale burglary there. The criminal mischief in East Meadow. They did cover that. They covered some things, but they didn't. They missed a lot of stuff that they should have covered. We'll go to the Daily Voice here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the city here. Oh, what's this? This wasn't covered either. Guns, pills found during Long Island traffic stop. A Brooklyn man who, they didn't cover this at all. A Brooklyn man who didn't use his turn signal soon found himself with more serious charges when police said they found a semi-automatic gun in his car. And this happened in Inwood, which is another really bad area next to Far Rockaway. Basically, it's over the border from Far Rockaway in Nassau County. 9:45 p.m., 29-year-old Raymond Colon was reportedly seen turning onto Bayview Avenue from Dowdy Boulevard without using his left turn signal. When police pulled him over, they found a loaded black Taurus 9mm. It was loaded, a semi-automatic handgun in the car alongside a clear unlabeled pill bottle that contained multiple L-Zopram, known as Xanax and oxycodone pills. So he's a drug dealer. That's nice. But of course, when somebody brought an unloaded gun into West Islip, well, South Shore 12 was all over that as well. Yeah, we'll go to the crime thing here. We're going to have to scroll back down here a little bit, but they were all over that. All over it. Let's see if we can find it. I can't believe I don't see it here. That's kind of odd. Definitely wasn't. It wasn't that long ago. I must have scrolled past it. I'm surprised it's not on here. That's weird. But yeah, you know what? I can go to News 12 West Islip, and we'll just do that, and that'll show up just fine there. Yeah, here we go. So they were all over this. Yeah, that got like 1 minute and 39 seconds. Of course, that gets coverage. Just because it happened in West Islip, that's why it's going to get coverage, of course. You know the story with that. So, now that we're almost done with the Long Island stuff, let's go to the, let's go back to this, actually. Burglar named, another one. Burglar named for $2,000 theft on Long Island. A homeless man has been arrested nearly a month after he stole. They didn't even cover this on 12 at all. After he stole over $2,000 worth of goods from work trailers parked in the grounds at a Long Island high school. So this happened in Glen Head. This is what we were reading before from the Nassau County Police. We saw that little brief thing, but we're going to... So it says 35-year-old Kyle Simpson on Tuesday, April 16th, was arrested for his role in the Glen Head burglary. So around 1:30 a.m., Simpson thought to have broken into 2 parked work trailers, which were located on the grounds of North Shore High School at 450 Glen Cove Road. He used a metal rod to pick the locks and took a backpack filled with 2 iPhones, house keys, blank checks, and various paperwork. In all, police said the items cost around $2,100. Simpson was wearing all black, fled on foot, and headed northbound toward Glen Cove Avenue. Simpson, who was homeless, was arrested following an investigation and charged with the following. So you have all these just vagrants that are out all over the, just causing all these problems basically all over the place. And the next thing we'll talk about here is this. They didn't cover this either. South Shore 12. No, this is pretty serious. Unlawful possession of a skimmer device. So these subjects here you see pictured are wanted in connection with an unlawful possession of a skimmer device incident that occurred in Plainview. So on February 9th at 1:44 p.m., the subjects, while at the ShopRite located at 444 Woodbury Road, acted in concert to install an overlay skimming device. So they caught them. I think. Hopefully they didn't rip anyone off. But this is you got to watch out for now when you're using the self-checkouts. This happened again. ShopRite at Plainview, 444 Woodbury Road. Very nice ShopRite. But again, Plainview, you're in the middle of the island, so you're going to deal with the same problems that everybody else is, that the middle of the island is dealing with. Inwood, well, that may be on the South Shore, but it's not an enclave. Inwood is a very low-income area, so that's not a surprise. Inwood is all the way over here, and it definitely is not a very nice area at all. Just show you Dowdy Boulevard, so right around this area, probably right where this is definitely a little on the rundown side here. It doesn't look too bad on the street view, but definitely crimes are always an issue in this area. Think of it like Baldwin. It's not a South Shore because it's a diverse area. So of course it's not lily white. So guess what? You're gonna deal with the same problems the middle of the island gets to deal with. Let's go to the city now. Crime on the subway is out of control. I've got a bunch of these. F-train rider punched at Jamaica Hills subway station by attacker who remains at large. Another one of these are the kind of people I see staggering around Mineola. These are people that are supposed to be in jail, but instead they're on the streets. All right? An F-train rider was assaulted inside the 169th Street subway station on Hillside Avenue near Homeland Street in Jamaica Hills last week, and the dreadlocked suspect remains at large. So police from the NYPD 107th Precinct in Fresh Meadows and Transit District 20 are looking for the dreadlocked stranger who approached the 37-year-old man while he was waiting on a northbound platform just before 3:30 a.m. Friday, April 12th, and began to argue with him. The verbal altercation escalated into violence when the assailant punched the victim twice in the face before running off in an unknown direction. And the NYPD released images of the suspect on Thursday and described him as having a dark complexion with a mustache and beard. He was wearing a dark Nike hooded sweatshirt, dark pants, and dark sneakers. Yeah, this looks like somebody who's up to no freaking good. You can tell the way he's just standing there and the way he's acting. And through April 14th, the 107th Precinct has reported 76 assaults this year, 11 more than the 65 reported at the same point last year. That's an increase of 16.9%. Transit crimes are also on the rise in the 107th Precinct, with 13 reported this year, 2 more than the 11th reported at the same point in 2023, an increase of 18.2%. So, and that's not the only subway thing that we got to talk about here. Yes, a 9-year-old was punched in the face, a child, a week after breaking a woman's nose. So this is a classic example of exactly the kind of problems that we're dealing with in New York, that the Albany, the latest budget agreement, does nothing to fix. The man accused of punching a 9-year-old girl in the face in broad daylight on Saturday was arrested several hours later. They say the alleged attacker also punched a woman this month at the same location, breaking her nose. Police say the 30-year-old man is back in custody facing another assault charge. So, again, this is a guy with a long rap sheet. It's a random attack at one of Manhattan's largest transit hubs led to the arrest of a man allegedly behind not one but 2 assaults just days apart. It was just before noon on Saturday when police say a 9-year-old girl and her mom were in the dining concourse at Grand Central when the man seemingly came out of nowhere, so it's broad daylight, noon, came out of nowhere just to punch the girl in the face. MTA police identified the man as 30-year-old Jean Carlos Zuela. He got away before the girl from the Bronx was taken to the hospital. Brooke Gibo walked into work at a coffee shop in the Concourse only a few minutes after the startling assault. My coworkers are like, oh my God, like a child got punched in front of Tartanary. And I was like, wow, that's terrible. Who was it? And it's this guy who's been giving us problems before. Again, somebody who should not have been out on the streets. Court records show that Zarazola was arrested by the police on April 4th and charged with assault. A law enforcement source told News2 that he randomly punched a 4-year-old woman inside Grand Central, and the assault broke the woman's nose. In that case, the source said a judge set bail at $2,500 cash, and Zarazola went to jail on April 9th. We went before a different judge, and then that different judge released him. Unbelievable. I hope the family of the girl sues that different judge. Just 4 days later, police said Zarazola was back at Grand Central where he allegedly whacked the 9-year-old. He fake swings at people sometimes, but I guess he's like actually swinging at people now. Gabriel said he's been working in the bustling transit hub for about a year and says she's not surprised to hear about another violent attack. Back on Christmas, two teenage tourists were stabbed in an unprovoked attack in the dining area. There is a very big mental health crisis here, obviously, and like the reform for that isn't going to change fast, I know. It's a very nuanced issue. Police nabbed the 30-year-old suspected puncher within a few hours. It doesn't make any sense that the guy should be back in a public space where he can attack others, especially children, MTA Communications Director Tim Minton said. Zarazola was picked up by police uptown several hours later. He's expected to be charged with assault. Maybe he'll be released again. You know, whether they got the bottom line, mental health issues or not, these are violent people that belong behind bars. They need to be in jail, all right? That's the bottom line. They can't be let out on the streets. But this is because of bail reform. The judges can let them out on no bail. And you've got a lot of very liberal judges in the city that just let these criminals out. Here's some more subway crime. I mean, it's all over the place. Every day. I don't have any plans to ride the subway anytime soon. Man in custody after attacking 16 and 11-year-old boys selling candy inside Manhattan subway station. So, a man who allegedly attacked 2 boys selling candy inside a Manhattan subway station was taken into custody on Wednesday. According to police, 62-year-old Alvin Doris attempted to rob an 11-year-old and a 16-year-old selling candy just before 6:30 p.m. in the Broadway Lafayette station in NoHo. Doris allegedly followed the boys who were walking along the platform, then took the 16-year-old's cell phone and punched the 11-year-old in the face. He also tried to rob them of $40. He's charged with robbery, assault, and acting in a manner injurious to a child and criminal mischief. And he might have been let out. Probably was. Oh, here's some more subway crime. Police are investigating this happened on Monday night. A 57-year-old man was found dead in a subway car on Queens Monday night. And this happened unresponsive and unconscious on the NW Astoria Ditmars Boulevard station before 7 p.m. They don't know the cause of death yet. Let's go back to the home page here because, yeah, there's even more subway crime. I think we have even more here. Yep, here's another one. Man robbed of a phone on the Bronx 6 train. Again, look at these guys. These guys are up to no damn good. See, this is exactly the kind of thing stop and frisk is designed to stop. The police stop these people, they find out they're up to no good, and they put them behind bars where they belong. But instead, that's not what's happening. Police are searching for 2 men suspected of pushing a man and stealing his phone on a Bronx 6 train earlier this week. Again, broad daylight, 11:45 a.m. on Tuesday, April 16th, a 51-year-old man was aboard a southbound 6 train approaching the Burr Avenue subway station in Pelham Bay when he was approached by 2 suspects. One suspect snatched his phone while the other pushed him, causing him to fall onto the train seat. The suspects then fled the subway station and fled northbound on Burr Avenue on foot. The first suspect was last seen wearing a black jacket, black hooded sweatshirt, black jeans, and black sneakers. The second suspect was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black and white sneakers, and black sweatpants. So here we go again. It just continues. I'm telling you, it's just insanity. Oh, here we go. More. Subway riders sucker punched. Suspects sought in Brooklyn Queens transit assaults. You cannot ride the subway. It's just not safe to ride the subway. The transit assaults in downtown Brooklyn and Jamaica. So this was This was the one we read to you about the F train, all right? But then there was the second one that happened on the evening of March 30th on a southbound A train at the J Street Metro Tech Center in downtown Brooklyn. The victim, a 40-year-old man, sat down next to his attacker, who immediately got up and punched him in the face. The suspect then fled the station on foot before EMS arrived to treat the victim. These are dangerous, dangerous people that shouldn't be on the streets. And, you know, we got to get them behind bars, you know. But the problem is, even if they get arrested, they're going to be right out again, doing it all over again. Because this is what we got, these limousine liberals around the street. This is all designed, again, say it with me, drive us out. Oh, here we go, man. And this wasn't on the subway. This is on the street. You're just not safe in the city anywhere. A man armed with a hockey stick randomly assaulted a woman as she walked down the street in the East Village. A 26-year-old was walking on East 6th Street just west of Avenue A at 10:30 p.m. That's at night. On April 9th, when the attack went unprovoked. You got to have your head on a swivel when you're in the city. You're walking around and you see people that are up to no good. You got to get away from them. This is what I do. You know, this is what it's like. This is what it's like to live when you're living in an unsafe area. You see people that are up to no good, and you got to constantly dodge them. It's like a game almost. All right, and this is what you got going on. All right, this is what you got going on. And you know, I just read a bunch of these things to you. You know, it's unbelievable. Governor Hochul, she doesn't care. Like they couldn't even fix the bail reform law. The state is a disaster. The budget was 3 weeks late, and we still don't even have the full information on this budget. But there's no solution to this bail reform problem. New York is the only state in the whole country where judges cannot consider the dangerousness of a suspect. We have the most liberal bail reform laws in the whole country. That's right, even more liberal than California. And this governor is a disaster. She is a disaster, and I knew she would be a disaster. I knew it. But, you know, it's all part of the plan, and again, to drive us out. You know, all right, we're going to ruin the city. We're going to ruin the city here. I'll just get this back to this view here. We're going to ruin the city, all right? So we're ruining the city, all right? We're ruining the city. We're basically Xing out the whole city here at this point, or most of it, all right? And then we're also going to ruin the middle of the island. So we're going to ruin all the way out here, all the way out. Mineola, Westbury, whatever, this whole middle of the island here, Elmont, Uniondale, whole thing, Garden City too, the whole thing, at least out this far, all right? All right, we're going to dump all the problems here, we're letting all the poop out of jail. All the poop is loose, just roaming around, just, you know, causing all kinds of problems, and mainly in the middle of the island, you know, and it's all designed, again, to drive us out, because by constantly ruining areas, you're going to have less and less safe areas. And because of that, I don't think it's going to go out to Ronkonkoma. I think Ronkonkoma might be okay. But because of that, what's going to happen is, we'll just X this out here. But because of that, all right, now you've ruined the city. All right, you've ruined pretty much the whole city at this point. Most of it, all right. You've ruined that. All right, you've ruined lots of central Nassau County, at least. All right. All right, you've ruined lots of central Nassau County, all right? You've also ruined parts of Suffolk County, Deer Park, Wyandanch, you know, out to Brentwood, you know, this whole area here. So you've ruined that. And now, as you ruin more and more areas, there's less and less safe areas for people to live. So you know what's going to happen to those safe areas, particularly those South Shore enclaves. And I know Freeport is not an enclave, but the point is they're going to get more and more coveted. It's going to get more and more difficult for people to find safe places to live with a good quality of life, and they're going to wind up leaving the state. All right, and that's what it all is. It's designed to drive us out. So all you're going to have are these snobs, all right, on the South Shore, which my writing is horrible, all right. And then, you know, maybe some more snobs on the North Shore, a few more snobs here. But the middle class, there's not going to be a place for them to live. You're going to have the snobs, and then you're going to have the poop. You're going to have the poop. You're going to have the poop. You're going to have the poop in the middle, all right? All right, and every once in a while, the problems will spill over into the snobs' enclaves, and you'll hear about it on the news. But meanwhile, in the middle of the island, we're dealing with all these problems, and nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. It's all designed, again, to just drive us out. All right? That's how you get priced out. That's how you get priced out. That's how it works. That's how the plan works. The plan hasn't gone anywhere. I don't want to have to go live in New Jersey, but that's still a very, very strong possibility at the rate things are going. Because, this area's finished. And we all already know the plan. Priced out of Long Island. This is how it works. NJ Transit may be raising the fares, but I still say that Phil Murphy is a much better governor. All right? Yes, I don't agree with some of the things he's doing with NJ Transit, but you know what I mean? I still think he supports the people a lot more than Hochul. And I have to make another video about it, but apparently the whole thing with the Six Flags route getting eliminated is not because of NJ Transit, it's more because of Six Flags. So I'll have to make that another correction video about that. But, Phil Murphy, I'd still much rather have Phil Murphy as my governor because I know I can count on being safe. Kathy Hochul, she doesn't care at all. And it's just all part of the plan because Kathy Hochul she is a limousine liberal. She's going to be looking out for the snobs, the rich snobs. All right. Whereas Phil Murphy, he looks out for everybody in New Jersey. That's the difference between New York and New Jersey. New York, it's just all driven by Wall Street. And the place I call home is getting more and more expensive and getting more and more, they keep making it harder and harder to survive here. And when you have all this flood of just trash all over the place, and you got all this poop just spreading all over the place here, spreading all over, spreading in the middle of the island, maybe it's even on the North Shore a little bit, spreading, and eventually maybe it'll spread a little further out east too. It's already spreading, already having Coram and Middle Island and Ridge going downhill. So, than that, all these areas going downhill. And then you realize, well, wait a minute, how much, when you take if this whole part of the island is now ruined, how much, there's not that much left. All right, let's not even include some areas on the South Shore too. How much is left that's really safe? That's the point. That's how this plan works. That's how they get us out. Because the only safe areas are going to be for those preppy people. We all know who they are. And the rest of us, well, we're going to have to shut up and go live elsewhere. That's all part of what happens, and it sucks. It really does suck. But the plan hasn't gone anywhere. It's still here. It's still very much with us. And, this is the kind of stuff, again, that we can deal with. I see people like him every damn day. I sit out the door in Mineola every damn day. The other night I had to dodge 3 vagrants there was swagger walking around in Mineola, middle of the street. But just swagger walking up to no good, walking in the middle of the street, this isn't stuff you see, and then you smell the weed. You don't have that when you go to Rockville Center. It's all nice and peachy keen. But here in Mineola and many other areas in the middle of the island, this is what we're dealing with. And it's all part of the plan. This is the plan. This is how the plan works. The governor is in on the plan. She is. When she got elected, we knew that the plan would be complete. And that's exactly what's going on, folks. And, I'm going to keep fighting to survive. But, eventually when it gets too dangerous to stay here and I can't live on where I need to on Long Island, then I have to make that hard decision to say, all right, it's time to go. Shame on all the people that just don't want to wake up and see what's going on. The snobs are trying to pull one over on us and force us out of our island, our state, and nobody's really doing anything. This isn't a Republican thing. This isn't a Democratic thing. It's a Wall Street thing, all right? Both parties in New York are in on this. It's not just the Democrats. It's the Republicans, too, like Bruce Blakeman, all right? They're all in on it to drive us out. Many of them are anyway. Not all, but many. And it's all part of the plan because Wall Street runs this state. And until we get Wall Street out of our government and remove everyone who's connected to Wall Street out of our government, then this state is just going to be a state for the rich snobs and everybody else who's going to be suffering and leaving. And, it's just going to be left with rich snobs and all the criminals and the illegals who do cheap labor for the rich snobs. So that's all. Thank you for watching, and know the plan. It sucks. I hate it, but I know it, and it sucks.